So, how are you doing, Donald?
Well, I got a good night's sleep. It's finally the last day of the RNC, and I have a Diet Coke and McDonald's breakfast. Overall, I'd say I'm good. Very good. Happy even. Happier than Dr. Disrespect hosting the Miss Teen USA pageant even.
Right. Well, I was worried because, well, you have had a very busy week.
Tell me about it. Why the Republican National Convention has to be a week-long event, I have no idea. I'm ready to get home to Mar-a-Lago and have some downtime.
Donald, I was trying to ask if you're all right after being shot at. Joe and I were worried about you. Are you sure you want to record today?
Oh, yeah, that was a thing. I won't lie, Obama, I feel very fortunate. I'm saddened by the loss we suffered from such a senseless event, and my heart and prayers go out to the people in the crowd, in my crowd, who were hurt. In all honesty, it was a scary moment.
You handled it like a real champ, though, Don.
That you did. And as you said, you're here now and moving on. We're just glad you're safe and all right. That said, I thought it'd be a nice show of unity today if we could all resist the urge to fight with each other.
So you mean no insulting each other? Do you hear that, Donald, or do you need Obama to say it in the not bandaged ear?
Very funny, Joe, but even with a full cast on one ear, I'd still be able to hear twice as well as your old floppy ears.
Gentlemen, what did I just say about not fighting today?
He started it.
Well, I'm ending it. What happened this week was proof enough that the rhetoric of late has become too assertive, too divisive. Just this once, I'd like us to get through a day without insulting each other. America needs this now.
Obama, you realize that asking me to not call Joe out on his shortcomings is like asking SS Sniper Wolf to make original content. It's just never going to happen.
Barack is right, though, Donald. Let's at least try. Besides, today is a day to celebrate that Eorzea still has its best warrior to defend it, right?
It's very best, you're right, Joe. All right, I'll try. Donald J. Trump will be a force for peace today. The most forceful force for peace.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Good for both of you.
So that breakfast smells pretty good, Donald.
It tastes even better. That's one of the reasons I like McDonald's so much. No matter where in the world I travel, my sausage egg biscuit tastes like a sausage egg biscuit.
Huh, I never really thought of that, but it's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, really, it can't be that hard for you two to have a civil conversation.
What do you want from me, Barack? If I can't make fun of someone while I'm talking, it's very hard to feel free to speak at all.
I just said don't make fun of each other. If you want to make fun of others, go for it. Heck, you two could insult someone together as a team. That'd be a form of unity, too.
Could we start with J.D. Vance?
My new vice president?
Candidate, VP candidate. You haven't won yet, Don, but yes, I couldn't help but notice that with his beard now, he looks an awful lot like both your sons, Eric and Don Jr.
Actually, I thought he looked a lot like what would happen if Eric ate Don Jr. He's a chunky boy.
Is that why you chose him, Don? Because you look a lot thinner standing next to him?
You're both right. He's definitely rocking that couch dad bod. But that's not why I chose him. Funny story, though, I did consider Ron DeSantis for a bit, just because standing next to him would make me look taller. So much more taller.
You almost chose DeSantis? I think we all dodged a bullet there. Oh, sorry, Donald. That was insensitive.
Not really, Barack. When it comes to bullet dodging, I've proven that Donald J. Trump is the best bullet dodger, the very best bullet dodger.
That's pretty good, Don, but back to JD. Why did you pick him?
Mostly from the urging of my son. He and Don Jr. have become quite the friends. They even had a sleepover last week. They were so loud playing Street Fighter VI, they woke Melania and I up a few times.
Aren't they both in their 40s? Who has a sleepover and stays up all night playing video games at that age?
And why were they staying over at your place?
They were using the PlayStation 5, my PlayStation 5, and we only have the one at Trump Tower.
Kind of like how you only have this one laptop?
I'm frugal, Obama. Sue me. Everyone else is.
I just realized we haven't talked at all about what's going on in the game.
I did notice that we were talking with people from that vision we had of the war. Are they the leaders of the other two nations?
I believe so. One was a blonde woman wearing all white. She leads Gridania, a nation that seems to be all about living in the forest.
So a bunch of tree huggers? What about that big guy with all the scars? He looked really impressive.
Leader of Ulda, I believe. or maybe just their armed forces, as it was mentioned, that the nation is a sultanate. I don't think we met their actual leader.
With a soldier as fierce-looking as that scarred man, their leader must be intimidating, very intimidating.
What are we doing now, Obama? Are you back in Limsa Lominsa?
I am, and it seems we're being recruited to explore a dungeon and take out the rest of those kidnappers we were dealing with earlier.
Wait, what? A dungeon? Give me the laptop, Obama. It's time for Eorzea's best warrior to charge the depths of combat with axe in hand.
Actually, I was planning to run this first dungeon. After that, I think it'll be Joe's turn if he's ready to play.
What? That's not fair. You've had the laptop for a while now, and you know I'm most interested in the combat. I want to do the dungeons, Obama. Give me the laptop, gimme.
Starting to see why JD and Don Jr. still act like little kids.
Donald, stop getting so excited. There will be other dungeons. And besides, you'll have to spend time leveling up to run a dungeon now, so it's better to do that later when we're not recording.
This is not fair. Absolutely not fair.
Considering you designed our character and named him without any input, I think this is perfectly fair.
I tell you what, Don, after the recording, why don't you level your warrior up and then you can have the next dungeon? That's fair, right? Heck, we can even DoorDash some more McDonald's for you.
I can't, Joe. Tonight is finally my turn to give a speech, saving the best and only important speaker for last.
It doesn't seem like you've been enjoying your convention so far, Don. I thought you enjoyed rallies, and this is really just a big, flashy mega rally.
I enjoy rallies because I get to give the speeches there. This week, all I get to do is sit and listen to people who aren't me giving speeches. It's honestly been very boring. I nearly fell asleep a few times. The only fun I had this week was watching Nikki Haley come crawling back to the Republican Party with her tail between her legs. That was almost worth the rest of the week.
You're not even listening to the other speeches? What have you been doing all week?
Suffering, Joe. Suffering. Listening to these speeches is almost as painful as listening to Ingrid Andress butcher the national anthem.
She already admitted she was drunk while performing. She's checking herself into rehab, Donald. Don't go too harsh on her.
Oh, so she's allowed to drag our national anthem through an off-pitch minefield, but I can't call her out for it simply because she's a lush. Think about who you're speaking to, Obama. I dry humped a flag on camera. I love America, and I love her anthem, the most amazing national anthem. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad Ingrid is going to get help, but I still think she should be called out for what she did.
My point is that she's taking responsibility for her actions.
She's just lucky it happened at the home run derby instead of an event people actually watch. If one of the 10 folks in the audience hadn't recorded it on their cell phone, none of us would have ever known.
Could you imagine if she'd been at the Super Bowl?
Joe, I already had one near-death experience this week. Don't scare me like that.